I'm Kevin Heffernan. I teach film and media arts in the Meadow School of the Arts at Southern Methodist University. And I'm here at the 2013 Feminist Porn Awards. And I'm here with the co-winners of the Feminist Porn Award for Sexiest Short, Clark Matthews and Mia Gimp, who have won that award for their short film, Krutch. And I'd just like to ask each of you what your artistic background is and how you came to make the film.
So I'm a dancer, and during my studies at university, I started taking women's sexuality classes and sex and gender classes, and I couldn't find a lot of academic articles on sexuality and disability. There was some out there, and it wasn't until like 2008 was there a huge insurgence of sexuality and disability stuff. And then I was making a theater piece outside of university with it was called an integrated theater company about sexuality and disability, and that was my first theater piece with monologue, which mine was about sexual harassment and being a disabled female in New York City subway. So that's where, and I use kink as a form of accessibility in the bedroom. Mm-hmm. I tie my legs down to the bed so I don't kick my partner in the head. And so some of the vibrating cock ring on my crutch in the film came from a bondage workshop I took. It evolved from the workshop.
And then I've actually made up my mind to be a filmmaker when I was 3 years old. And then ever since just been kind of working towards that. I went to school for film and media arts at Temple. And after getting my bachelor's, met Mia not too long after, actually. Yeah. Actually, like, immediately after. And yeah, not very long into our friendship, she started telling me how there needs to be some disability porn. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then that became, we have to make disability porn because no one else is.
Right.
The conference we met at, everybody at the conference wanted to make disability porn because there were so many disabled people in one space, but it didn't happen, and I kept being like, why is this not happening? We keep saying, I mean, there was, like, Laurie Erickson's work had already been released, and it was out for a few years. And I think Just Sash had done American Able already, and Sins Invalid was in their third year of performing. So I was like, but where is it? And so we had met Matt Fraser at the conference as well. So that's where...
Matt's an established actor.
Our producer.
Yep, well, he was served as our producer as well, and he's an older, not older, but an established act in the UK. He does burlesque as well.
And Freak Show.
But also a lot of work on the BBC and everything like that. So with his guidance as an experience in the hand, our willingness to do something that hasn't been done before and get naked and fuck a crutch on film, it came out.
Much of the film is shot on location in New York with unscripted, unaware extras. Can you tell us a little bit about the making of that part of the film?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the concept all came from just figuring out, like, what do we have to work with, which isn't much. We had ourselves, and just, going around New York all the time together, it's, you're always walking. It's always a pedestrian city. And so... I knew I wanted to incorporate that into the film, and the whole concept was start with Mia walking down the street, have, so that an audience who doesn't know her would just kind of project whatever they think her life must be like oh, she must be off to a doctor's appointment, or poor thing, or, whatever. And then, through just images alone, reveal a different side to her, so that when we show her walking on the street again at the end, the audience's perception has just totally been subverted. And so shooting on the streets was a key part of it.
Yeah. And is it legal to do that in the ways that, if we do distribute it, we probably have to start blurring out faces.
So,
perhaps.
Luckily, using a wheelchair, I have my own dolly.
Yes.
So that worked out really well. I just, had my Flipcam Ultra HD, and then Mia contacted some of her college friends to act as dolly grips, and just, she'd walk along and we'd follow after her. And be it, walking along in a leisurely pace, or booking it full fucking stream.
And my
Speed
friend's
ahead.
running backwards, pulling him backwards, running backwards to get the shots of me facing front.
It was intense. We had some good bloopers.
Yeah.
Just leave it.
Matthew
Blooper
fell
reel.
a lot.
Yes, Clark did.
Yes, Clark fell. You're right, Clark.
One of the most moving and extraordinary moments in the film is when Mia falls, which is very much cross-cut with the sexually explicit scenes. And I'd like to know how y'all came up with the idea to incorporate the fall into the movie.
Oh yeah, that just came from the very earliest ideas of just when I was storyboarding back and forth, and wanted to have juxtaposition of going back from the sexual intimate scenes inside to the stark contrast of outside. And just thinking of devices to cut back and forth on motion.
Right, and falling is how I live, so it just seemed like a natural thing to include in the film, because every day, or at least once a week, I fell on my way to the conference today, and my pants were still a little dirty.
Yeah.
So, and I fell, and then the Krutch falls, so we had the two things falling to make the transition as Clark was describing.
Yep. And what's interesting too is hearing people comment on that fall sequence.
I never would
That didn't.
It didn't occur to me that it would make an impact on people, because it's just a natural, intrinsic thing to who I am. And I was just like, wow, other people, this does have an impact, because that's not their life experience. It's my life experience, and it makes sense to me. And other people just watching, audience, say that to me. Like, I learned something from my audience, from our audience, which was pretty awesome.
What was it like to shoot that scene with the fall?
Well, I was very grateful that Mia, both as someone who falls a lot, but also as a dancer, is just used to pushing her body to the limit. Because we were just sitting there out on this corner at Herald Square, me with my flip cannon. And initially, I was pretty just bold, just blazing about. Just, all right, go ahead, and she, collapsed. And then, but we had to keep, doing it from different angles and repeating it. And so I became more and more self-conscious of what a dick I must look like.
And then staging. Okay, you're not gonna fall again. You're just gonna do the section where you push yourself off the ground. So get on your knees and just push yourself off the ground, and we'll take it from that cut.
Right.
Dropping the Krutch, I came up with, I was like, I really don't want to fall to drop the Krutch. Why don't I just toss the Krutch?
Mm-hmm.
And so I started tossing it so we can get the same effect, because all we needed was a person picking up and handing it to me.
Right.
So,
But
troubleshooting while we were doing it.
well, we said, that's all we needed. Unfortunately, we'd already gotten ourselves into the position based on because we shot the interiors first, was we need them on, the left half of the screen, picking it up so she was bending down to the corner to reach as though it matched the motion.
Yes.
To match the motion. And we did, and, just being no budget filmmaking here, like, well, someone will pick it up and we'll just get it on video real quick. And that took multiple tries, because you'd have people walk right in front, and every single time people would, fight each other to, come over and help, and, being super friendly, that's the way, New Yorkers are.
Yeah,
But
they are friendly.
It's true.
But, some nice lady would pick it up for her, too bad your ass is in the shot. She's gonna fall again now.
And people started catching on, so we had to take a 10-minute break and wait for traffic to sort of flow again, and then came back and tried again and troubleshoot. Okay, how are we gonna do this differently? I mean, Clark always talks about, well, we just sort of had an extra just pick it up for me, but I still stick by the trial and error for the
Gonzo style. Yeah.
So what, after your success with the film here at the Feminist Porn Awards, where do y'all hope to go with the project in the future?
Oh, well, that's actually, this project is a good question. We never thought about really too much about distribution when we were making this.
I see this as a installation in a full series, and making more. And our producer is starting to work with people in the UK to do that with. So I saw it as a series and then distributing it. But it's such a good work, and it can stand alone, so we really didn't decide what we were going to do.
But that's something we're talking about this later this month. We've gotten distribution offers from people here at Famous Porn Awards, and so we have contracts we're going home with to the three of us when we get together later in New York this month to go over and figure out what comes next with it. Because it's been so overwhelming, the amount of support we've gotten for it, and we want to make sure capitalize while we can.
It was clearly an audience favorite. So what future projects are y'all thinking about in addition to this possible series of which this will be a part?
Lori Erickson is doing work for her PhD, and so we're planning on trying to collaborate so I can be in one of Lori Erickson's scenes.
Yep. Lori Erickson is a queer Crip filmmaker based right here in Toronto who's had work Want and Sexy.
Right.
And that kind of inspired you in the first place.
Yeah, Sexy really influenced the way we wanted to structure our film in some ways.
Lori has an essay in the Feminist Porn book,
yes,
which is being celebrated as part of the Feminist Porn Conference here the weekend of the awards.
Right, absolutely.
So I'd like to ask you all a question about the use of the term Crip. To an outsider's ears, it sounds as though activists and filmmakers are attempting to reappropriate what was once a slur in the same way that we would hear the word queer used, for example. Would you like to comment on that?
Crip is a diasporic term, and there's a Crip community all over the U.S., Canada, Europe. There's Crip Hop Nation, founded by Leroy Moore, who also is the founder of Sins Invalid. Spelled with a K, so not to be confused with the U.S. street gang, the Crips. So K-R-I-P, and K is also for kinky, so...
Is that where the title Krutch with a K for the film came from?
It was influenced by it. Originally it was just spelled straight, normally. And then we're like, doing a Google search, you're like, oh, some other guy named a film Krutch pretty recently, and he had some very inspirational dance, overcoming adversity kind of. Like, we don't want to be associated with that, and he doesn't want to be associated with us.
Right.
So let's funk it up a little bit, and then the K.
And so when we did a search for the K, Krutch for the K, there's a Christian rock band.
There is.
There's a Christian rock band called 1,000 Foot Krutch.
So our goal is we can't wait until this poor band starts getting requests on their website. You're like, where's the girl fucking her crutch?
But we were perfectly comfortable competing with a Christian rock band, sure.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us today. Your film was clearly the crowd's favorite for the weekend, so best of luck to you with this film and with all your future projects. Thanks again to Mia Gimp and Clark Matthews. We're here at the 2013 Feminist Porn Awards and Feminist Porn Conference in Toronto.